Steve, take it away.
All right, welcome everyone to our annual meeting, or a version of that. Of course, we're sad that we couldn't meet in person, but as I'm sure we're all aware, this was obviously the best choice. So glad that some of you were able to take the time and meet with us today. Um, as the outgoing chair for the Socioeconomic and Class Issues and Higher Ed Knowledge community, I just wanted to take a quick moment and highlight some of the things that we've done over the last 2 years. And then I'll introduce our incoming chairs and kind of pass the meeting on over to them. So since 2018, we have accomplished a lot of different things. So some of the highlights that I wanted to cover include that we did a national survey on class identity, and that data is being pulled together and formed into a white paper that will be forthcoming, looking at how student affairs professionals and faculty define class, how they define their socioeconomic status, and what it means for them in their daily work. We initiated a special interest fund with over $1,000 fundraised in order to get that started, and have been continually finding great donors and great members of NASPA to participate in funding things like research grants, scholarships for our pre-conferences at the annual conference, helping to fund our drive-ins or smaller conferences, all different things that can go towards. The subcommunity on homelessness and foster care has continued to grow and find interest in helping to serve those students, and have secured multiple grants over the past couple of years to help with their programming. The professionals from the Poor and Working Class subcommunity have continued to recruit professionals for our Facebook group and our general community to help provide resources for each other, support each other through whatever may be happening in their personal or professional lives, and hosting events through Facebook Live, and helping to gather information for future webinars and blogs. This year is the second year that we are able to offer awards from the knowledge community. And so that will happen in a few moments, but we will be recognizing people who are doing great work around the topics of social class issues in higher education as well. We completed and submitted our strategic plan. So aligned with NASPA's strategic plan, we also created one to kind of align with that and to make sure that we are both supporting the larger national organization, international organization, but also focusing on the individual needs of our community and the particular topics that we work with here. We worked really hard in our different regions to continue recruiting members who are doing work with students with class issues who have an interest in social class issues. Region 6 had a drive-in this past winter where they were able to bring in speakers and talk about books and other topics related to our theme, and we're able to provide kind of that special opportunity for faculty, staff, and other professionals in the California area. And then, of course, we continue to put out blog posts through the NASPA blog. We've held webinars, participated in webinars, co-sponsored events with other knowledge communities where there was functionality and opportunities for us to really help and join forces in those types of offerings for the membership, presentations, pre-conferences. Our members have really been putting forth a lot of effort in a lot of different ways, and we continue to grow that. We've contributed to the annual community publication every year. We've been able to highlight dissertations and other studies that are happening all over the globe through our membership and abroad. And so I'm really proud of the work that our membership has done, that our leadership has done, that we have all kind of helped to create over the past 2 years. And so with that, I thank everyone for their participation and for everyone's continued participation and future participation if you are new to the knowledge community. And with that, it is finally time for me to pass the torch on over to Shonda and Mitchell.
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Mitchell Holston. I see Shonda is also here as well, and we'll be serving as the, now I guess we are actually officially in our tenure as the co-chairs for the Socioeconomic in class issues in higher education, knowledge community. And so very excited to be here, very excited to be leading this KC into the future. And so before we got into the rest of the meeting, we want to kind of spend some time kind of introducing ourselves, telling everyone a little bit about ourselves and talk about our platform and what we hope to accomplish with the KC in these upcoming 2 years as co-chairs. So again, like I said, Mitchell Holston. I serve as the Assistant Director of Inclusion and Student Engagement at Colorado State University. I've been at CSU for a couple of years. I also have been involved with NASPA in a variety of ways. I was formerly on the leadership team for the new professional and grad students. I've been on the leadership team for socioeconomic and class issues in higher ed KC as well. And when it came to, chairing this KC, my interest with chairing this comes from my background of being from a low-income family, being from a working-class family, and seeing, that be something that has greatly impacted me as a student when I was moving through the higher education realm, but now also working with students in student affairs and seeing how that impacts them. I saw myself as wanting to, one, learn a lot more about this topic because I find this to be an interest of mine, but also how do I bring these things into my work and make it feel better through the lens of knowing what it was like to be a student from a low income or working class family.
Good, thanks, Mitchell. Good morning. I'm Dr. Shonda Goward. I am at another CSU, except for I'm in California. Mitchell and I have already confused ourselves with this designation and marker. I've only been at my current institution for 2 months as of today, so it's been quite interesting directing a center that had to be moved online in 48 hours, and I had been on the job for a month. So that's going to be that's been an adventure, and I'm sure we'll talk about some of these things later on in our meeting. I'm so excited to join Mitchell as co-chairs. We served the KC together as the conference co-chairs, and we really like that model of having different voices, particularly as Mitchell's on the student affairs side, I'm on the academic affairs side. It gives us a breadth of experience to think about how we are going to serve the KC. So I'm really excited to work with him. I've been working with Steve and before him, Jabari, in different capacities on the KC. So I'm really excited to take what they've done and to continue to advance that work. So thank you for the opportunity to serve. My own background, I was a very low income student. I found my first financial aid letter the other day, and my expected family contribution was $0. I consider myself working class still, even with a doctorate, but working in higher education. And so this work is very dear to my heart. The position I just came from was working on a program specifically for limited income students. And now I'm at an institution where a majority of the students are limited income. And so I'm interested in continuing to advance how we think about limited income students, particularly around other identities. And you'll see some of that in our platform today. And just thinking about this concept a bit more broadly than I think some of the national conversation has done. So thank you for having us as your leadership. Oh, sorry, technology. Mitchell, take it away.
Yes, and so before we go into talking about our platform, we really wanted to kind of spend some time talking about our award winners. And so I had the pleasure of being able to look at the nominations and all different people that have been nominated for the awards that the KC gives out. And so we really wanted to spend some time, talking about these accomplishments, and if the people are here, let them have an opportunity to kind of share a few words. So I will just go ahead and hop right into it. So the first award that we have is the Outstanding Campus Program Award. And this year, that award goes to Marquette University for the Marquette Backpack Program. And so I just wanted, and I'm going to redo this for all of the awards, is kind of read a little excerpt from their nomination. And so particularly with that one, the Marquette Backpack Program's mission is to provide nutritious food, personal hygiene products, and cleaning supplies to any Marquette student encountering food security in an environment that emphasizes dignity and confidentiality. The vision of the program is that the cost of pursuing a college education forces some students to forego food and basic needs as they can pay for tuition, housing, and books. Our goal is to eliminate food insecurity and hunger for Marquette students to ensure their well-being and academic success. We're committed to raising awareness on the issue of student hunger and food insecurity while employing cultural humility to maintain an emphasis on the dignity of all student participants. And so if anyone here from Marquette wants to give a few words, we'll offer out that space. All righty. And so it doesn't seem like anyone is here, so we'll go on along to the next award, but congrats to Marquette. The next award is Outstanding Service to NASPA. And so this award actually goes to Dr. Shonda Goward. And so who was a University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, kind of had a little movement there. And so the nomination reads, or an excerpt from it is, we are proud of Shonda because she is a valued colleague, alumnus, and campus partner, community partner, and serves as a representative in many higher education associations, such as NASPA. We are proud of her compassion for our students and care and support she brings to the plate, enabling them to not only attend UNC Chapel Hill by providing financial resources, but enabling them to thrive on campus, graduate, and be successful in their post-graduation journey. While she carries a large caseload, Dr. G, as our students finally refer to her, shows up every day with enthusiasm and passion for her work, takes our students out to lunch, and always makes time to meet one-on-one with students, whether problem solving, solutions to get on track academically, or celebrating successes. So congrats to Shonda.
Thank you so much. I've only been with NASPA since I've kind of had this hybrid student affairs, academic affairs role, but I've really tried to jump in and participate and do the work and contribute, especially from the side of the house that does work with students on their retention and things like that. Not that we all don't, but you understand what I mean, but it's a little bit different on the academic side. And so I'm just thankful to my colleague who nominated me. I'm thankful to you all for just acknowledging that work. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Congrats again to Shonda. The next award is Outstanding Professional Award, and this award was given to Dr. Becky Martinez from Infinity Martinez Consulting. And from the nomination, it read that Becky Martinez is a force in the area of social justice and inclusion. Becky's contributions to the field are vast, from her prior service as a higher education and student affairs campus-based practitioner to her current broader impact as a consultant for higher education institutions. Becky is a scholar practitioner who is focused on raising consciousness around social class identity within social justice and inclusion work and calling for action to make higher education less classist. She does this through speeches, workshops, conference presentations, research and scholarly publications, and just being herself. And so Becky, if you're here, we'll allow for you to have words. All right, congratulations again to Becky. And the last award that we have is our Outstanding Research Grant, which went to Dr. Jania Betancourt from University of Massachusetts Amherst. And the grant that Dr. Betancourt will be receiving, the grant will be used for a critical constructivist narrative inquiry that examines the experiences of working class students transitioning into graduate degree and career pathways after earning their bachelor degree. This research will build upon a study of 24 working class students across 2 public research institutions during the 2018-2019 that examined their perceptions of social class identity, class-based allyship, and sense of belonging on campus as undergraduates. Specifically, she will examine how postgraduate transitions impact participants, understanding of social class in general, and meaning making related to their own social class background. So Dr. Betancourt, if you are here, we'll allow for you to have space to speak. All right, so those are all of our award recipients. We'll talk a little bit about awards on the next slide, but congratulations to all of those who were nominated. Thank you for sending in your nominations. Congratulations again to the winners.
So now Mitchell and I will transition into talking about how we'd like to work with the knowledge community going forward. Of course, we're going to extend all of that hard work that Steve has already done, and we are thankful that he will stay with us as a part of the KC leadership team to continue some of that work, particularly around fundraising. And then we also have some shifts that reflect where we'd like the KC to go. So Mitchell's going to start.
Yes. And so the first thing that we really want to talk about is just some structural changes. We very much plan on keeping all of the positions that we had before, but now having two co-chairs, which is new for our KC because in the past we were chaired by one individual. We wanted to look at how we can better support the rest of our leadership team. And so with that, we have kind of looked at, ourselves as chairs. We have a vice chair as well. And so how can we best support all of the different leadership team members? And so one of the things that we are doing is kind of looked at the different positions that we have and kind of split them up amongst us as chairs and also our vice chair to kind of serve as advisors and kind of leaders of those particular groups. And so Shonda will be overseeing communication, public policy, our Commission for Equity and Inclusion, research, and our Special Interest Fund coordinator. Whereas me in my role, I'll be working more with our regional representatives, so all of the different KC regional reps, but then also our subcommittees as well. So the one on homelessness and also the ones from professional from the working class. And so I'll be working with those, whereas our vice chair will be working on things that are more conference related. So working with our awards, but then also working with our conference co-coordinators. And so we really wanted to provide more support to all of our different chairs, now having, a multitude of different people who can do that. And we decided to split up, those things based on our expertise and based on how we wanted to move the KC forward.
Yes, so with regard to campaigns and advocacy, we would really like to streamline how we do some campaigns. So the two things we'd like to accomplish in this first year, if possible, if we're ever back outside of the house, is an I Am Working Class campaign. Some of the conversations, particularly in the political realm around working class identity, have not really been reflective of all working class identities. And so we want to show the face of what it means to be working class, and that many of us come from that particular background and have been able to figure out how to use the resources and things we've learned from our working class communities and be successful in higher education. The other things we'd like to do is put together a basic needs roster. So many, as we've seen from the award-winning Marquette program, many institutions are creating basic needs programs, and we'd like to create a list so that we know who's done that work and what does it look like. So that if people are interested in finding out who can support me as an undergraduate or graduate student, we can be a voice to say, these are the campuses that are doing that work that can support you in that way. With regard to advocacy, I'm really proud as a NASPA member that this is one of the few associations that actually advocates on behalf of staff, but also limited income people. I've seen in the NASPA policy updates, several updates around how NASPA is responding to potential executive level budget cuts to Pell Grants. And NASPA has responded to those in ways that often I don't see. And so we want to continue to support NASPA in their advocacy, particularly around Pell Grants, whether that be letter writing campaigns, taking the lessons that I learned at NASPA Hill Days and sharing that out so other people can go to either Capitol Hill or their state legislatures and continue to advocate for Pell. And we are going to work with NASPA to kind of create a guidebook around how to continue to do that work. And then Mitchell's going to talk a bit about learning and conference.
Yes. And so learning obviously is one of the bigger things that we really want to focus on. And so one of those is launching a series that we have named Socioeconomic Status Class and ... And so you can kind of visualize what that looks like. But it really is an opportunity to do webinars, but then also have a blog post. And it really wants to focus on the intersections of socioeconomic status, class, and something else, right? So it could be race, it could be gender, it could be sexual orientation. But we really wanted to kind of spend 2 months on each topic, during those 2 months, blog posts and also a webinar just kind of focus on the intersections of those identities. And so that is one of the things that we hopefully want to begin starting up this fall, to provide further education for members of the NASPA community to learn more about how socioeconomic status, class intersects with other identities that may be marginalized. Additionally, we really want to lead a summit in either 2021 or 2022 at the annual convention. And so we really want to work, and it's going to focus on how to start working towards a student-ready campus. And so providing resources to institutions who really want to start creating programs like the Marquette program or other programs that focus on issues that students with limited income face. And so we really want to kind of push our KC to have something regular where we're inviting schools into how do they become a student-ready campus. Additionally, with our regional representatives, we really want them to kind of produce more content for their regions based on what's going on in their region. And so earlier, Shonda mentioned having like a needs kind of like database, right, of like different programs that kind of exist. And so we're really going to be leaning on our regional reps to kind of spearhead like what that could look like, to start thinking about what kind of programs exist in your region, so we can start building what that database is. And so in terms of the conference for many KCs really is an opportunity to really kind of shine bright, right? To also let others know about your KC and know about the work that you're doing. And so we really want to beef up our KC sponsorship and awards. And so when thinking about like our awards, right? Like we just kind of talked about those, but how can we publicize those awards more? How can we, make the awards known a little bit more, be a little bit more out there? And so that's one of our focuses for the conferences, but just in general, having a larger presence during the conferences, thinking about promotional items and all those different things.
And we'd really like to thank our current conference co-coordinators, Amanda and Shantae. We know that they worked so hard to create an experience for 2020, and we were unable to attend, of course, for safety reasons, but that doesn't negate the hard work that they did for the KC. And so I don't believe either of them is here, but just want to acknowledge them for that work and helping us to prepare, because that was really important, and we appreciate that. Oh, Amanda, you are here. Thank you so much. And so like Mitchell said, our idea this year is to think intersectionally about working class identity and how that intersects with other marginalized groups, and how that we can partner across KCs because people are experiencing multiple oppressions, and we want to recognize that and think about our programming in that way. Oh, Shantae, hello. Thank you for all your work. Sorry, I can't drive the ship and chat at the same time. Okay, so thinking about working class and limited income people immediately, we know that COVID-19 has upended a lot of our lives. I'm already seeing that some of our colleagues across different campuses are being furloughed or laid off. And so I'd like to start immediately by creating a state-by-state resource bank around maybe how people can apply for unemployment. What are some resources in the state? And so Mitchell and I will be working with our regional representatives to do some of this work, just to create something so that people can have our support during this really difficult time. And so there will be a link that will go out through the KC after this meeting. And please take a look at that if you know of resources in your state or country, because actually, the NASPA is worldwide, state, country, or territory. I don't want to forget my District of Columbia folks. Please let us know. We really just want to support not only our staff, our students, but our staff and faculty who may be experiencing hardship at this time. Mitchell?
And so with that, we really want to kind of open up a conversation, right? Of how can we support limited income students, staff, and faculty during COVID-19? Because obviously, we kind of talked about the state bank, but there's probably things that we're all doing on our campuses now, or we're looking for resources. So knowing that this is, an open meeting, we have different people, we really want to kind of open up an opportunity to kind of have an open conversation about what we are doing during this time to support limited income individuals. So feel free to chime on in, people. You can take yourself off mute.
I'll start with my own campus. We are working really, those of us on the staff side have been really focused on making sure our students who are student employees are still paid through this time. And so it's been a bit of a challenge, but we've found my center is still operating. Actually, we're fully open, but there are other employees, like I work in the library, that don't have that same opportunity. So we're working across offices, maybe to help the students support other offices during this time. We're providing additional training, and our campus has decided to offer paid administrative leave, even to students. So I'm really proud of what CSU East Bay is doing.
And I would just add, if you do decide to chime in, it would be great if you could introduce yourself, what institution you're at, and pronouns if you feel comfortable sharing those. But I will talk about Colorado State. And so we're doing a lot of what Shonda just said. We're ensuring that our students are being paid, whether they're working on campus right now or not. And so that email actually just went out from my institution this morning about what that's going to look like. And so that feels really good, that a lot of our students will still be able to receive compensation. Additionally, I work in housing as a unit, and we have allowed for students to stay on campus, particularly focused on our students with housing or food insecurity. And so we still have a small group of students. We have within our residence hall over 6,000, and we're looking at around less than 500 remaining. And so it's a much smaller group, but I still feel great that we can have that resource for students to be able to stay on campus if they have those needs, or if they need stronger Wi-Fi, whatever that is. Us as an institution and as a housing unit has developed, resources for those students to be able to stay. But then also thinking of ways to kind of keep those students engaged while they're still on campus, because obviously, like, we just don't want them just sitting in the room stirring. You know how residence halls can be. People still get a little wild, or still try to cause ruckus. And so we've also thought of ways to try to keep those students engaged while living with us. And so we've created like a newsletter. We've definitely been publicizing a lot of the virtual opportunities that other partners on campus have been providing to really keep those students engaged with everything that is going on. And then lastly, one of the programs that we traditionally have on campus to combat food insecurity is our mobile food pantry. And so that is essentially where there is a kind of like a bus that just kind of sets up on campus, and students are able to get food. And so we actually had a virtual, I guess it wasn't virtual, but very different kind of food pantry, right? Where, students were still able to come get food in a very different way, because we saw that as important to kind of keep these resources going that we traditionally have for students that are food insecure. And so we just had our first mobile one, and from my understanding, it was a success. And so students were still able to come get those resources that our campus traditionally provides.
Awesome. It looks like Shantae wanted to share.
Yes, thank you, Monica. My name is Shantae Mitline. I am an academic advisor at Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and our college is doing some similar things. So all of our student employees are still getting paid with really no expectation of them needing to work. They are just it's entering their normal hours, like what they would have worked if we were still on campus. So they've not missed any paychecks so far. So that's been really great. Our university, our Dean of Students office has set up a form where students can go and if they need to request additional assistance. So we have Chromebooks that we've been sending to students, and also hotspots for people that don't have good internet access. We also have, our university launched an initiative where people can submit almost like a care report. I think it's through our actual care report system, but if students have not re-engaged after coming back from spring break, like when we moved to online courses, so that way we can work together to try to track down those students and see what they need to get re-engaged, or also to see if they need what they need in general, not just to get re-engaged with classes. So that's been awesome. And I personally sit on a citywide board, our Continuum of Care board in Detroit, that services, that is a coalition of agencies that serve the housing insecure and homelessness community. And so since I sit on our the citywide committee for youth homelessness, those agencies that serve youth and young adults have been reaching out to me just to make sure that our students were still okay, and seeing if anyone needs anything. So our residence halls have also remained open, especially for students that need assistance. We've closed some just because a lot of students have left, but we're still technically open, and students that have a hardship and need to stay on campus have been able to do so far. So we haven't needed to really pull on outside agencies yet, but we're connected with outside agencies that already do this kind of work, and they are aware that universities in other areas have suddenly closed residence halls, and so we're kind of every 2 weeks we meet, and I give an update like, nope, our residence halls are still open. So it feels good to kind of know that we're like part of a bigger group that could help our students if needed. And our food pantry is also open with greatly reduced hours, but is still open. And through the Detroit Continuum of Care group, we have lots of resources for other like food giveaways and things should our students need something beyond like what our campus food pantry can provide. That's it. Thanks.
That's really great work, Shantae. I know that I'm in the Bay Area, so we at first were one of the hot spots in managing COVID-19. How are you? I know that Detroit is having some serious challenges. How are you managing? One, how are you, and how are you managing? And then is your campus, I guess, handling that, and that you have a significant number of cases in your area?
We do. And Detroit's also been tested. We just ramped up our testing as well. So we're seeing a lot more confirmed cases. So that's been tricky. One problem that our residence halls did have early on was that we had students that, tested positive, and so they had to be quarantined. So they have specific areas and specific residence halls where students can be quarantined if they are showing symptoms or have been confirmed to have the virus. So that's been good that they figured that out pretty quickly. Our campus alone, they stopped sending out daily updates of how many people had been confirmed, but the last time they sent something out, we were up to like 20 or 25 just in our campus. In our community, numbers have been very high. So there's a lot of responses that are happening. Like I said, I'm pretty connected with like the homelessness system in Detroit. So there's been a lot of work there. Wayne State has a medical school. The university where I work, we have a med school. And so our med students have been helping do testing in homeless shelters and nursing homes, like any place where people are forced to live in close quarters. So there's been some quick responses. We set up a big testing center, like a drive-through testing center, and our big arena, like our big convention center, has just been converted to be able to have 1,000, like to be able to serve like 1,000 patients if needed. So that's all good. I'm good. I've been working from home for about 4 weeks now. Our campus switched pretty quickly to our students were on spring break when all of this happened, and then we gave the students an extended spring break, so they went on spring break for an additional week while everyone tried to get everything online, so that when we came back from being online, came back, that everything was ready to go. So I've actually been pretty surprised and impressed at how quickly things were able to get online. Like I'm an academic advisor. We're doing all of our advising online. All of our other student services that can be done online are being done online. So that's been helpful. But it's challenging because we know that we have students and faculty and staff that are, personally experiencing, they know someone that has been sick or is sick or has, unfortunately passed away. So we're starting to hear more of those types of things.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and we wish you the best as you and your city navigate all of this. Does anyone else have anything different that they're doing that you haven't already heard from everyone else?
Hi, everybody. This is Amanda Morales. She, her, hers. The new director of housing at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Shauna, like you, it has been kind of a whirlwind trying to learn my job and how to do all this stuff at the same time. So we have a couple things a lot of our programs have gone online. A lot of the things that you have all already mentioned. With regard to our food bank, we turned it into a weekly drive-through situation where we have staff who are practicing social distance out in our parking lot, and students are able to drive up and get bags of food every week. So we're able to continue that program. Something else that the university is doing is the creation of hardship grants. Financial aid was able to allocate funds. And so when we interact with students who are in need, whether they are food insecure, housing insecure, if they don't have access to things they need like laptops and internet, financial aid's been working really hard to reallocate funds to those students on a case-by-case basis. So I've been able to work directly with them and get folks money for a variety of things. So it's kind of been really great for students. We've had a lot of local support from the Corpus Christi area. We've had people donating money and donating laptops that we're able to give out to students. And then one of you mentioned that we've been able to reallocate students from one department to another who are able to work. Unfortunately, we can't offer all students continued funding without working, but if they want to work, we're making sure that everybody who wants to work has the opportunity to work from home. So we've heard good things about that. We've already moved into doing Summer 1 online, and then our orientation launch program, it was just announced that all of that's going online. So I think it's just been a lot of learning as we go and trying to do whatever we can, whether that's creating opportunities online. I was just working this morning on our end of the year award ceremony, so making sure that we're still able to recognize our students for all the great work that they've been doing and things like that. So yeah, and again, special shout out to all you people who are new in their role, because it is so hard to be a brand new housing director. I'm gonna just throw that out there. Y'all can send me some good vibes if you want to. But that's all I got. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Amanda. I think you and I should follow up just to chat. Last call for one last person. If there's anyone who else has any thoughts before we move on to a couple other things. I have the share screen, so I can't see any hands. So one of you is going to have to let me know. Okay, so we're going to advance. So I love that Matthew earlier was like, how do I do this work? We love that enthusiasm. We want you on board. And so this is how you reach us. If you want to email us and let us know, I heard this in the conversation, and this is the kind of thing I want to work on. Please put me on that subcommittee. Please do so. Please reach out via Facebook or Twitter. I'm not hard to find personally at CSU East Bay, so I'm happy to chat with you offline as well. Mitchell, thoughts?
Yeah, the only thing I was going to say is that, for the most part, like, you all probably got this email through our listserv, like joining the listserv through your NASPA profile. That's officially how you kind of like join KCs. And so that really kind of serves as one of the main ways for you all to know about opportunities that we're going to be putting out there. We plan on meeting with our leadership team hopefully next month to really start pushing these things out there. And so as we start to establish more how we want to go about this, who's working on these different things from our leadership team, the listserv will be used as ways to let people know about subcommittees and ways to get involved with these initiatives directly. But yeah, you can always email us. Our Gmail is there, but then also check us out on social media. We have a Facebook page and a Twitter. So.
I think we have a couple minutes left before our time is up. Is there anyone who's like particularly, I want to work on this? I know that this is the idea that I have after hearing some of the things that we talked about, or there are other things that you'd hope that we would address in the coming 2 years? Okay, so hearing none, we really just thank the 2018 to 2020 team for all of their work. We are looking forward to continuing that with the 2020 to 2022, Jiminy Crickets, group as we continue to address some of these issues and highlight not just issues, but highlight some of the benefits of growing up working class and what we've learned from that and how people are thriving as working class individuals in higher education. I know I fully believe that it's not a deficit to grow up working class. We may not have had certain things, but there's other valuable lessons that we have gained, at least for me, that have really made me able to push through and be successful. And I want to continue to celebrate that work. Mitchell or Steve, do you have any closing remarks?
The only thing that I would just add is to just be conscious of what's going on, not only with our students, because I feel like, we spend a lot of time on students, but also with yourselves, making sure that you are taking care of whatever it is that you need to do during this time of COVID-19. I'm hoping people are finding routines, finding ways to still stay engaged. I know that we, even when thinking about, COVID-19 and aftermath, right, we may potentially be staring at an economic crisis, right? And so how do we think about, what that may mean, not only for our students, but for ourselves as individuals, knowing that people are being laid off, furloughed, et cetera, and that there's really no way to kind of control that, right? But knowing that, this KC is really an avenue for support for individuals who may be facing job insecurity and those different things, but really encouraging people not only see this KC as a support, but hopefully finding support on campus as well, because this is a really rough time for a lot of people in a lot of different ways.
And I would just add, as sort of our development chair, working as our liaison with the NASPA Foundation, right now we're in, as Shonda mentioned, really uncertain economic times, and things are going to be challenging for a lot of people for the next couple of months. As things become available and we move back into campuses and doing things in physical spaces, keep an eye out for opportunities for scholarships and grants to attend professional development as that becomes available for various NASPA events that will come as a result of our special interest fund. And if you find yourself in a position where you are able to donate to the NASPA Foundation, keep an eye out for directions on how your donations can go directly to the SAIHI KC to help support some of those things so we can continue to provide professional development opportunities and research grants for important topics.
And with that, I think we're complete. Monica, is there anything that NASPA needs to communicate?
No, just thank you for all of the work you're doing. I know this is a time when I think this meeting reminds me that, you're working to support students and also dealing with a lot of the impact of what's happening in your own lives. And so thanks to the KC for holding both of those spaces. I've also just noted in when you all were talking about ideas, we have some virtual planning happening in NASPA as well. And so the fun thing, or the good thing about participating in a lot of these meetings is that I'm taking those ideas to that group. So if we, if something kind of resonates with that group, we will definitely connect with the KC to ask if you want to collaborate and partner on that. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We will see you. Yes. We will see you all in our future meetings, in our webinars, and email. Take care.